Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 11 of What If Naruto Was a Smart Prodigy. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Was the Asusuke King. And enjoy that guys. And also, I posted a brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was a Badass Genius. So go ahead and check out that as well, guys. And on this channel, I posted a new episode of What If Naruto Got Banished and got a supernatural ability. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, guys. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about all of you. So without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last time we left off, Naruto and Sasuke were on their envoy mission as they took out a missing link from Konoha, as he was the one who stole the sword that the second Hokage created, but he was no match for Naruto. Just because he has that blade, he think he's strong enough. After the mission ended, they came back to Konoha. As Naruto sat down with Tsunade and talked to her, something strange was going on with Sasuke, and when him and Yujito visit Sasuke in the hospital, they came across a man who wears bandage over the right side of his face and also his arm, and also he has an X on his chin. As Tsunade narrowed her eyes, what would Danzo be wanting with Sasuke? But she told Naruto there's nothing to be concerned about, because she didn't want Naruto to be worrying anymore about her friend. As Tsunade then taunted Naruto, she pulled out a picture of him and Yujito kissing. As Naruto asked how the hell did she didn't realize Katetsu and Izumo, as she told him he will give her a bottle of the sake from Mount Miyaboku, and she won't let these spread, she said, as she was teasing him. As Naruto called a small orange toad who was gotten much larger to Naruto's surprise, as he told him to go and get some of his father's sake. Later that night, Sasuke was in front of Danzo bowing, as Danzo told him to infiltrate Orochimaru and find out what he's planning, as he told him that everyone has to sacrifice for the leaf. Sasuke gave a bow and told him that the mission will be completed as he headed off. The next morning, Naruto was shocked to hear that Sasuke had abandoned the leaf, as Tsunade sent out a team, as Naruto, Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, and Neji went off, as they came upon Jirobo, but Naruto crushed Jirobo in a matter of seconds, as the rest of the group split up and take on the enemy, as Teiwai was the only one left, as Kidamaru then came, as Choji and Shikamaru decided to take on Teiwai, as Naruto went after Kidamaru, but then, out of nowhere, the coffin lid exploded as Sasuke emerged. He then went off after glancing back at Naruto. Lee then arrived and told Naruto to go on and get Sasuke back, as Naruto chased after Sasuke and met him at the Valley of the End, as Sasuke told him that he has no intention of coming back. Naruto realized that Sasuke was actually trying to kill him. Naruto stopped playing, as the both of them start to battle as Sasuke activates his Mangekyo Sharingan and release Amaterasu flames on a plant that Naruto created to attack him. As Sasuke told him that Itachi made him watch as he killed him over and over again, and that is how he activates his eyes. As Sasuke activated his Susanoo and blow back Naruto, Naruto went through Hansen and created a large wooden dragon. He has learned a lot from the scroll, as Hashirama had left back a lot of Mokiton abilities to think that another Mokiton user will come in the future. Naruto told Sasuke if he doesn't want to, he will force him to come back. So yeah guys, that was basically the last point we left off. You guys can switch across the place to check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we begin this new episode? Naruto wooden dragon launched at Sasuke, as the Susanoo tried to stop it with a sword swipe, but the dragon evaded easily. The dragon then wrapped itself around Sasuke's Susanoo and constricted tightly. As Sasuke felt his Susanoo weakening, the dragon was feeding off the chakra. This is Hashirama, wooden dragon, Naruto said. This has the power to bind the 9 tails. Up in the past and right now, it's doing the same to your Susanoo, Naruto said, as Kurama scoffed about his run-in with Hashirama. It also has the power to absorb chakra, and I am sure that Susanoo of yours is made entirely of chakra. Damn you, Naruto, Sasuke thought. I can use Amaterasu to burn that dragon, but his vision then blurred slightly. I cannot keep risking my eyesight. And keeping the Susanoo up was already weakening his eyes, and plus he already used Amaterasu. Sasuke then felt a branch snag his arm from the ground underneath him. He was then thrown from his Susanoo right towards Naruto. As Naruto cloaked himself in a three-tailed cloak as he was ready to end the fight. As Naruto delivered a powerful roundhouse kick as a crack could be heard as Sasuke blasts right through the waterfall and smashed into the wall behind it. Naruto knew that that kick would have left Sasuke severely injured, enough for him to take him back to Konoha. However, Kurama knew better. He activated the cursed seal as you kicked him. But I am not sure if that kick is enough to keep him down if he's using that power. Why didn't you use something else? If I had used a Rasengan, I would have killed him. I need to take him back. I thought the three-tailed kick would have taken him down, but it looks like he won't give up. Naruto then saw a huge spark of black lightning as he quickly charged a Rasengan. Sasuke burst out of the waterfall in his cursed seal, stage 2 form. This is it, Naruto, Sasuke said, as he dashed forward, as Naruto dashed forward as well. Chidori! Rasengan, the both of them said as they smashed their attacking together. Sometime later, it's just up ahead, Kakashi, Pakon said, as Pakon was leading Kakashi through the woods as they were trying to retrieve his ex-students. As Kakashi was dashing through the woods, Snyder-sama said Sasuke left the village, and Danzo could be involved. That team she sent should have been sent alone. Luckily, Neji was still alive after his fight. The team from San helped keep the group out of harm's way. All that is left is Naruto and Sasuke. Come on, I have to make it in time. When they arrived, as they saw Naruto standing over a burning body, and Sasuke was nowhere around. Naruto, are you alright? What happened? Asked Kakashi, as he looked around. I don't know, said Naruto, as he told Kakashi what happened with his fight with Sasuke. Flashback earlier. Chidori! Rasengan! As the both of them met in a clash. As a spear of energy surrounded the two as their jutsus connected with each other, fighting off each other. The spear expanded and exploded in a bright light. After a few seconds, the light died down as rain was pouring down over the valley. As Naruto was standing over Sasuke, I'm taking you back to Konoha, Naruto said. As Sasuke's body was worn out, he couldn't even move from the last exchange. As Naruto picked him up and placed him over his shoulder, he then turned and started to walk away with Sasuke over his shoulder. You don't seem to understand. I'm not going to Konoha. I've come too far to fail, Sasuke said. As Naruto became confused, as Sasuke said a few words, you are the leaf, bathing in the sunlight, and I am the root, growing in the dark. As Naruto did not understand, he had lost, and from what Naruto could tell, he couldn't lift a finger right now, so there was nothing stopping him from bringing him back to Konoha. Naruto Senju, a voice said, as Naruto saw a group of 5, as all of them were wearing various hoods with animal masks. Normally Naruto would have been able to sense him beforehand, but he was too tired. Anvu? You're not Konoha Anvu. Who are you, Naruto asked. The group didn't answer Naruto, they attacked him, as Naruto dodged a swipe from one of them, as he then had to duck the swipe from another. The third and fourth one slammed their fists into his face, as Naruto dropped Sasuke. Sasuke was then picked up by the 5th and final member, as he took him away, leaving Naruto to fend off against the 4. The remaining 4 stood as a blockade, keeping Naruto from following the fleeing Anvu with Sasuke. We cannot allow you to take Sasuke. If you choose to pursue him, we will have to stop you. No, Sasuke, Naruto said as he stood up, as he could feel Sasuke's presence vanishing and his anger was spiking. Move, Naruto screamed out as an explosion of chakra erupted around him. As 4 deadly tails were now swinging behind him. The first one tried to attack him as Naruto swatted him away with a flick of his tail, as he caught the next one by the throat with a claw hand. Naruto created a Rasengan and he slammed it into the chest of the 3rd Anvu. That sent him sailing into the wall behind him, as he crushed the throat of the Anvu into his hand, as he smashed his body into the ground. The moment that Anvu collapsed into the ground, after Naruto crushed his throat, he burned. The first one who was swatted away as well burned, and the one that got slammed in chest by Rasengan started to burn as well. They follow Anvu protocol, burning their bodies upon death. I have to take the last one alive, Naruto thought, as he turned to face the last Anvu. But before Naruto could capture him, his body burst into flames. It's too late, Naruto, Kurama said. Kurama was surprised though at Naruto's ability with his chakra. Instead of the version 2 of Abichu form, Naruto took on a weaker chakra mode to control it with 4 tails. It's possible to his body ability to purify and control his chakra. Naruto let the Kurama chakra faded as he watched her body burn despite the rain falling. I was so close to bringing him back, but I held back because I didn't want to kill him, Naruto said. Who were those Anbu, Naruto said, as he then looked to see Kakashi and his dog back on landing. End of the flashback. And that's what happened, Sensei, Naruto said, as his body finally gave out as he fell. But Kakashi was there as Naruto landed right on Kakashi's back. I almost had him, Sensei, Naruto said, as he drifted off into unconsciousness. Kakashi picked up Naruto piggyback style as he began his journey back to Konoha, as Pakon disappeared in a poof of smoke. As Kakashi was both happy and sad after the events, he was happy that Naruto was able to handle himself against someone who used the Mangekyo Sharingan. And Naruto won, but he was sad that it was his student, Naruto's friend, that left. Meanwhile, somewhere in a hidden base. So I see you have come, a man said as he was sitting on a throne, as his face was wrapped up with bandages. Only his left eye was being shown. As he said that, 2 others walked into the room. One had a glint, as he was wearing glasses, and the other had a pair of Sharingan. The man on the throne grinned a sinister smile as he welcomed his new guest. Welcome, Sasuke. I knew you'd come, Orochimaru said as he led Sasuke down the path. In another underground base, several figures stood on giant fingers, as they all seemed to be projection. What the hell is this meeting for? I got souls to sacrifice to Jashin-sama. Why are we here? Hidan said, as the leader looked over at him. We are here to discuss a new development. Zetsu, he said, as a bean rose on the floor. It was black and white Zetsu combined together with that large Phoenix flight strap thing on his head. I have news on something important. Sasuke Uchiha fled Konoha in order to get to Orochimaru. Konoha sent a team to retrieve him though, and it ended up with him facing off against Naruto Senju. I recently watched a fight between them. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki won despite the Uchiha possessing the Mangekyo Sharingan, Zetsu said. After besting the Uchiha boy, Naruto tried to take him back to Konoha, but his progress was stopped by Anbus. One of them took Sasuke, but he slaughtered the other 4 by going into the 4-tailed state but a lesser form. Sasuke was able to get to Orochimaru though. Be wary of these 2 shinobis, especially Naruto. He showed accelerating ability with his Mokidan and with the usage of his Biju. I will continue to update you all. Zetsu said. Pain then spoke. Now that we know how powerful the Jinchuriki has become, I decided to change your targets. I will handle the 9 tails when the time comes. Itachi Kisame, you will go after the 6 tails instead. We have only a few more years before we begin our hunt. You know your duties, be ready when the time comes. Dismiss. Time skip, a week later. Naruto sitting in his hospital bed staring out the window. It has been a week since his battle with Sasuke and he was still in the hospital. All of his injuries were healed when he arrived at the village though. But Naruto decided to stay in the hospital a bit longer. He still felt like he wasn't mentally prepared to go back. All of his team members were perfectly safe. Only Neji needed surgery, but they were said that he would make a full recovery, as the assistance of the Sand siblings really helped a lot. Tsunade had immediately rushed in the hospital to check on her nephew to see if he was fine. As the next morning, Naruto debriefed on what happened. After hearing about everything and how he failed by get stopping by Anbu, Tsunade knew that Danzo was involved somehow. Despite not having any evidence to prove it, she's going to make sure that Danzo paid for what he did, especially since he went against her directly. His dealing in the shadows need to be put to rest. Naruto has gotten many visitors in the hospital, including his friends and their senseis, along with Tenzo and Yujiro. They all wished him well and gave him words of encouragement despite what just happened. When Sakura came to see him, she gave him a long hug, as she felt the same way as he did. She had lost a teammate as well, and she felt sad that she couldn't stop him. And seeing that she was the first to notice him leaving, she was incredibly sad. She did told him that when the day come when they were going to go after Sasuke again, she will be there and she will be pulling her own weight. Despite all of his visitors though, Naruto still sat in his hospital bed. Hey kid, how are you holding up? Said Jiraiya, as he was sitting by the window. I've seen better days, Jiraiya sensei. What brings you back to Konoha? as Jiraiya looked at Naruto with slight pity, as he was going through the same thing when Orochimaru had left. Though it was probably worse in Naruto's case because he actually beat Sasuke and lost him because of Danzo interference. Luckily, Naruto did not know that yet. All hell would break loose if Naruto knew that Danzo was the reason those Anbus attacked him. I just came to tell you that you have a meeting with Tsunade tomorrow morning. It's important, that has to do with you. Be there. As Naruto simply nodded. Jiraiya pulled out a folder and tossed it to Naruto, as Naruto caught it. After a minute of looking at the folder, Naruto looked up and saw Jiraiya smiling. That's right, kid. I have it, Jiraiya said as Naruto blushed a deep red. I thought Tsunade got the original. Jiraiya smirked as he held up the original photo of Yujito and Naruto kissing. Well, when you and Tsunade decided to get junk off of Bunta's safe, I came in and tinkered with your seal. I loosened it to allow more of the 9-tailed chakra to seep in your system, and I also heard Tsunade singing love songs while waving a picture in the ear. To how shocked I was, I couldn't believe it. It was my young apprentice getting along with a Kumo girl. I think I'll be able to make a lot of money off a picture like this. What do you think now? Jiraiya couldn't finish that as he had to dodge a fist. You'll have to do better than that if you plan to get this picture, Jiraiya said. As he took off as he was chased by Naruto. Give me that picture, Naruto shouted. Meanwhile, on the path towards the hospital, Ino was heading there. As she was holding flowers, she wanted to give them to Naruto to cheer him up. As she was walking, she noticed a trail of dust heading her way. She then saw it was Jiraiya. Jiraiya-sama was running towards her. As he leaped right over her, she then saw that golden hair as Naruto leaped over her as well. But what she wasn't preparing for to see that he was wearing a hospital gown. Only a hospital gown. And she happened to get a front row seat to what made Naruto Naruto. All of it, and nothing was left to the imagination. The poor girl fainted on the spot as she lay stupid on the ground, with blood seeping from her nose. A day later, Naruto stood in Tsunade's office the next morning as he was in his envoy uniform, with Jiraiya and Tsunade in there. As Tsunade was sitting on the front of her desk while Jiraiya was at the window. So what's this meeting all about, Bachan? Tsunade smiled at Naruto sweetly, as if she was waiting for him to say that. Well, Naruto, Jiraiya and I had a discussion yesterday, and we think you're ready. Ready for what, Bachan? Naruto asked. As Jiraiya butt in, a training trip, you and I will travel the world. I will teach you all about being a shinobi. For 3 years, Jiraiya said. Can I refuse? Naruto asked. What? Jiraiya says he looks stunned. Going on a 3-year training trip to get stronger as a shinobi? I would love to do that, but you have duties to the village, and plus, I have to focus on my envoy responsibilities. I can't just let everything go in order to go on a training trip. If I did that, I would be no better than Sasuke. Jiraiya smiled at those words. Damn right, kid. That's what we were thinking. I just want to see if you had your head on straight. Glad you do. However, Jiraiya said, as a smile dropped from his face as he turned serious. My information told me that the Akatsuki will begin moving in 3 years, and that their leader is coming for you specifically. So you will need to be prepared. That's why in 2 years you will go on a training trip with me. We will spend 6 months together as I prepare you for the Akatsuki. And it will be in the land of toads only, so we will spend all our time there. Naruto nodded, as that was much better than spending 3 years away from Konoha. That would halt all of his progress of being a shinobi and being away from his home for too long. That's only the final part of the plan, Tsunade said, getting Naruto's attention. There's a special place you will be sent to and train in order to advance your Mokiton more. Along with a certain power, it's a special place Jiji went to. And you will also go there. I cannot tell you now, but I am certain you will enjoy your time there. This will happen in a year because I have to make sure all the preparations are there for your arrival. As Naruto wondered what kind of a place it would be if it required that much preparations to get to it. But for now, Naruto, you will still be assigned under Nico in Squad 3. We need you back out on the field. Naruto nodded his head as he pulled his mask out. And don't worry, if we get any intel on Sasuke, you'll be the first to know. As Naruto nodded as he head off. Not 20 minutes after Naruto left, Shizune walked in with news that Danzo arrived and was ready to see her. Shizune shut the door as she left Danzo alone with Jiraiya and Tsunade. As Danzo walked in with his cane as he wondered what he was here for. What is it that you wish to speak to me with, Hokage? He asked. Cut the bullshit, Danzo. I know what you did, Tsunade said in a deadly tone. I don't know what you're... But Tsunade shut him up. I don't remember asking you to reply. And actually, I haven't even said what you've done. Are you lying to me already? She asked. But she never let him answer that question either. I know you're still running that organization route behind my back. I also know that at some point you enlisted Sasuke and sent him on a mission to Orochimaru. I can't have you doing these kind of things without my knowledge of knowing them. As Danzo kept quiet the entire time, but he wasn't stupid. What are you asking of me, he asked. If I continue to allow your root faction to exist, I want to be informed of its activities. You don't have to tell me everything but things involving my shinobi, Sasuke Uchiha for example. Those things need to be discussed with me first. Especially when I endanger the life of my shinobis to get him back, when it was planned by you from the start. I could say no, but that would lead to more problems than I already have. Saying yes, that means I have to keep her informed on my movements. But that's an easy price to pay to be able to continue my work. So I'll play your game for now, but eventually, I will take over, Danzo thought. As he nodded towards Navi. Of course, it is the least I can do. Would you like to know about Sasuke's true mission, Danzo asked. Part 1 completed. I know your game, Danzo, and you're not the only one that can have hidden motives, Navi thought. As she nodded to find out about Sasuke's mission. Time skip. 1 year later, Naruto was now 16 years old. So, there was nothing in this base either, questions Navi, as she spoke to the group of envoys in front of her. Well, good job eliminating any experiments and destroying the base. The more base of Orochimaru that we destroyed, the less amount of place he has to hide. Good job, dismissed, besides you, Gamma, she said. The other 3 envoys vanished, leaving Navi in the room, along with Gamma and Sakura. As Sakura has been growing and blossoming in the year and a half that she spent with Navi, she has been made a Chunin 6 months ago along with Nechi. At the last Chunin exams, she had a great aptitude for learning, and her growth in medical ninjutsu was impressive. As Gamma pulled off his ninja mask, he has completed over 40 B-rank missions and nearly 20 A-rank missions in the past year alone. He even became the leader of the squad designated to handle the ransack of Orochimaru bases. Hey, Bachan, I'm guessing it's already time now, Naruto asked. As you remember what Tsunade said a year ago, it was time for him to be sent to that place to own his Mokiton abilities. Yes, and all preparations are met. I'm just hoping that you had a fun time with Yujito last month, because it's gonna be a while for you to see your girlfriend again, Tsunade said, making Naruto blush slightly. As Naruto was sent on a mission at the border of Kumo, and from the reports from his teammates, he disappeared for a day as Tsunade figured that he went to see Yujito, and she was correct in her judgment. She had screened Yujito's last letter to Naruto that said that Naruto's hands were magic. It was just a massage, Bachan. She's not my girlfriend, Naruto said. But Tsunade walked over and hugged him. As Naruto hugged her back, I'm proud of you, she said. Now, I want you to be careful out there and take the training seriously. As she break the hug and pulled out a scroll and handed it to him. Push chakra in this scroll, and you'll be summoned to the era. Be safe and come back strong. See you in 6 months. As she then kissed him on the forehead. Sakura smiled at Naruto as she wished him good luck. Naruto smiled at both of them as he waved goodbye as he pushed chakra into the scroll. As Naruto felt a pull like he was being sucked into something. As Tsunade then said something. Tell Gigi that Tsunade said hi. And just like that, Naruto was gone, as he appeared in a place that he's never seen before. As he noticed that trees were everywhere, and the air beneath his feet was damp. What is this place, Naruto said as he started to walk around. He then felt something behind him as he turned to see Katsuya. Tsunade summoned. But that wasn't the presence that Naruto sensed though. There was 2 other figures, 2 powerful ones, according to Naruto's sensory ability, and the both of them were holding hands. One of them was a tall man with tan skin, dark eyes, and waist-length hair. Black hair. He had on navy blue pants, and a light brown shirt with a sash around the waist. The other one is a woman wearing a white kimono with green flower dots on it, and an obi tied around her waist. Her hair was arranged in buns, as she had a diamond on her forehead, similar to Tsunade. She had tags with kanjis on them. In her buns. Hello, welcome to the Shikatsu Forest, Naruto-kun. The man said, and Naruto gasped in surprise. How is this even possible? You're Mito Uzumaki and Hashirama Senju, my great-great-grandparents. As Naruto just stood there, looking at the both of them, as he was pointing at the both of them, trembling as he recognized them as his great-great-grandparents, but they were supposed to be dead. As he then started to freak out, thinking that something went wrong, and that he died because this wasn't supposed to be happening. Calm down, Naruto, said Mito. As Naruto lowered his head, glad that you caught, but Naruto vanished as he appeared in front of her with his fists pulled back. They have to be Edo Sensei reanimations. Only Orochimaru uses that jutsu and they're under his control then. I have to stop them, Naruto says he swung his fist at Mito. As Naruto realized that the both of them were smiling at him though, as Mito brought her hand up and easily caught his punch. Naruto was prepared for her counter though, and he already had a kunai up. But before he could cut Mito, his hand plummeted to the floor, dropping the rest of his body, as his hand felt like it was in concrete. As he wondered what was going on until he noticed a ceiling array appear on the back of his hand. Did she do this, he thought, as he struggled to move his arm. Naruto, you don't need to attack us, we aren't your enemies, Mito said, as she helped Naruto up while removing the seal on his arm. Naruto stood up as he wondered how this was possible. Then what is going on? How are you two alive, Naruto said as he was confused as hell. We are chakra, said Mito, as Naruto became even more confused. A long time ago, Hashirama had this idea that maybe one day one of his children be able to use the Kekkei Genkai Mokiton, so he left techniques in Scroll of Sealing to be used. Hashirama grinned heavily at Naruto as he slapped him on the shoulder. And I was right, he shouted as he picked up Naruto and swung him around. So now they told me all about you, Naruto. It's so great to see someone else able to use it. It's even better since that Mito decided we should leave Chakra imprints, so we could meet the person in person. And here you are, in front of us. Naruto smiled as he spun around by his forefather, but Hashirama says he stopped. We're only chakra imprints, meaning that our time here is limited. You're saying that once the chakra you put in here runs out, you'll be forever gone? Can't I just stop the chakra drain and save it? Naruto said. No, it doesn't work that way, Mito said. Yes, we will disappear after the chakra runs out. Katsuya here activated the seals once you arrive, and the chakra will continue to drain until it's all gone, replied Mito as Naruto started to tear up slightly, as Mito pulled him into a hug, as Naruto hugged her back, as Hashirama joined them by hugging the two of them. It seems like he passed on more than his Mokiton abilities, Mito thought, as she watched both of them cry. They got depressed so fast I didn't even get to finish my explanation. She blew out a huff. This was getting too much now as they were still crying, as Hashirama had this depression mode. Sometimes he just cried for no reason, as she pushed the two off of her. Stop crying and let me finish explaining before you two get all depressed, she said, as Naruto and Hashirama continued to sniff slightly as they calmed themselves down, as Hashirama handed Naruto a tissue allowing him to blow his nose. Where'd you get a tissue from, she asked. Never mind that, she said. Don't worry about us disappearing too fast, she said. We were storing our chakra in this seal for a very long time. There should be more than enough chakra to keep us going for at least a month. Hashirama stood up as he shrugged off his depression like it didn't even happen. Of course there is, not to mention we can even slow the cycle of draining down. That's just a month of chakra uses. But we will have more time together since Mito-chan here will slow the siphon of chakra when you sleep and etc. So, you're gonna teach me? Well, at least a chakra imprint of you, Naruto said, as he was excited about that. He then wondered something though. Mito-bachan, are you going to teach me something too? But what are you going to teach me, because I really don't know your... He then stopped as you remember. She placed a seal on him by just touching him. Fuinjutsu, he said, as Mito nodded. At least you're not as dense as Hashikon, she said, as Hashirama fell into another fit of depression. But Mito placed a soothing hand on his back. You know that I love you, she said. But yes, Naruto, I'll be teaching you seals. What level are you on? She asked. I'm on level 6, Bachan. I'm guessing you're level 10, Seal Master. But Mito then started to laugh as she saw Naruto confusion. Naruto-kun, Uzumaki's become Genin's at level 8 Fuinjutsu, Chunin's at level 10, and I am far above a Chunin Uzumaki. That leveling system doesn't have a level high enough for my ability. But if I were to rate my level, I'll be like level 15, she said, as Naruto stared at her surprised. You do know that I sealed 9 tails inside of my own body, right? Cool, Naruto said, as he then saw Hashirama stand up. Let's get started, shall we? We only have a month, and I plan to get the most of it. Do you know my little brother's Shadow Clone technique? As Naruto nodded as Hashirama smiled, his training will progress even faster. Great, that will definitely help. How? Naruto said, as Hashirama looked at him. You don't know the secret, he said. Yeah, I know that, Naruto said, but you want me to train using them? But I thought the scroll said something like that could cause whiplash and kill you. Hashirama chuckled as Mito poked Naruto in the stomach. You do realize that you have a giant demon inside of you that can heal anything besides death. Oh, Naruto said. Damn it, Kurama, why didn't you tell me that when I read over the jutsu? I thought we were friends. Kurama then scoffed. I am not your damn hospital brat. I'm not gonna do more work just to keep you alive. Especially if you're self-inflicting yourself with injuries. And whoever told you that we were friends? Let's get to it, Mito said. Can you make me 100 clones, Naruto? Naruto nodded, Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu, he said, as 100 clones poofed into existence. Good, Mito said. You hundreds are with me, she said, as she took off with them inside the forest, as it was going to take long for them to learn Fuin Jutsu. As Naruto was left with Hashirama. So what are we going over, Jide? He then noticed markings appear on Hashirama's face, with a marking that resembled a third eye on his forehead. Hashirama then created 5 more clones. Well, I want you to create another 100 clones, and we will send them off with my clones, to help with your Mokiton stuff. As Naruto did what he said, create another 100 clones that divide into groups, 20, per one of Hashirama's clones. Good, now let's get to the fun part of what you'll be doing. How much do you know about Sage Mode, he asks. Time skip. 3 months later, Naruto sat in a meditative pose with his hands together. Another clone was beside him holding the Ram seal. There was one more Naruto there with his hands on his knees as they all sit with their eyes closed. After a few seconds, the other two poofed away, as the real Naruto opened his eyes with a grin, as he was grinning at Hashirama, who was returning the grin. In the distance, about 100 Narutos poofed away as Mito slowly walked back to the boys. It was a productive 3 months with Naruto training under the guidance of his great-great-grandparents. But it was close to the end as Naruto could see Mito and Hashirama fading over the past few days. So, this is it, Naruto asked, as both of them nodded. Our chakra is about gone, we don't have much time left, Mito said, as she placed a hand on Naruto's cheek. You're quite the exceptional young man, Naruto. It has been a pleasure getting to know you these past few months. Even if I'm only a chakra in print, you're exactly what we hope for. Especially since you're dating that girl from Kumo. It will help bring the two villages together and that will help bring peace. Well, at least between two of the great villages. Thank you for that, Bachan, Naruto said. But I did not tell you about any girls I was dating from Kumo, Naruto said, as he realized one of his clones were still left behind, as he gave Naruto a cheapest look and then poofed away. As Naruto got the memory of that clone and then put his head down. His clone had blab about him and Yujito. Stupid clone, Naruto thought, as Mito was whispering something in Hoshirama's ear, as Hoshirama was chuckling. Hey, aren't those clones basically you? So if you're calling them stupid, aren't you stupid as well? Kurama asked. Thanks for reminding me of that, Kurama, Naruto said, as he then felt a hand on his shoulder as he looked up to see Hoshirama. Naruto, everything that Mito said is truth. You're the embodiment of our hopes, ideals, and our dreams. And I hope I can entrust my own dream as well. I dream of one day in the future where all shinobi will cooperate. A time when everyone's hearts will be together, regardless of their countries. That's my dream of the future, Hoshirama said. Can I entrust you with bringing that dream to fruition, he asked. As Naruto nodded as Mito and Hoshirama started to disappear. Right before Mito disappeared, she imparted a few more words on Naruto. Don't forget Uzumaki Clan Temple. There you will find the mask and do what we talk about. And thank you again, she said, as she and Hoshirama vanished from sight. As Naruto nodded, as a few tears slipped from his eyes as he wiped away. He then turned to see Katsuya, a smaller human-sized one. Hello, Naruto-kun. Thank you for coming here. But due to you being a toad summoner, you're not allowed in this place. It was only accepted because of Hoshirama and Tsunade-sama requests. But since your time is up, you have to go, she said. I understand, Naruto said. I'm guessing you're my way out of here. She moved forward as she swallowed him. Meanwhile at Konoha, Tsunade was in her office with Sakura, with a small slug on her shoulder. It's time. As Tsunade went through hand signs, summoning jutsu, as a human-sized Katsuya appeared in her office. Not a second later, she peeled away her flesh to reveal Naruto. Yo, Naruto said as he came out, as the slug poofed away. As they looked at him, Tsunade looking him up and down. Seems you'll have to update your bingo book entry again, kid. You grew some more. You need to stop growing. Jiraiya already made me feel like a midget. I don't need you doing the same, Tsunade said. Naruto smiled at Tsunade as Sakura looked confused. Naruto is in the bingo book, Tsunade-sama? Since when? As Tsunade pulled out the latest bingo book and tossed it to her. Page 14, she said. As Sakura chuckled, you're not that threatening in this photo, she said. A rain cloud appeared over Naruto as he hunched over. Tsunade won't change it, he said. She said it will keep me humble. As Sakura read the report. Age 16 to 17. Gender male. Origin Konoha. Clan Senju. Affiliated Konoha. Rank Onfu. Physical description 5 feet 8 inches tall. 140 pounds. Has deep violet eyes and golden blonde hair with 2 bangs coming down. On each side of his face, 6 whisker marks. 3 on each side total of his face. Element has affinity for wind, earth, and water. Also show to use Mokiton, the first Hokage, Keiki Genkai. Rank S. Approach with caution. Special talents. Jinjulki of the Kyuubi, Nine-Tailed Demon Fox. Has shown the ability to access Four-Tail while maintaining complete control. Has the ability to summon toads, can also use point jutsu in battle, and Sunshin at an incredible speed. Bounty, 70 million dead or alive by the Sound. Another bounty, 70 million dead or alive by the Stone. Sakura gasped, reading over Naruto information. He's that strong, S rank? I know he was strong, but... As she looked him over, she then read the last part. Naruto, did you do something to the Stone Village? Why do they have a bounty on your head? As Naruto walked up towards the picture of Minato on the wall, it's because I remind him of someone, he said. As Sakura then glanced at the picture and glanced back at him. He does look like the fourth, despite the whisker marks. Wait, does that mean until Naruto got her from her thoughts? I wouldn't think like that, Sakura. It's an S-rank secret. As Sakura simply nodded her head. But I remember before I left, you wanted a spar after I returned, he said. As he smirked, allowing Sakura to smirk as well. Sorry Sakura, he can't spar now because he has an important scroll to deliver. And he has to leave right now or he will not make it in time, Tsunade said. As Naruto was confused. What mission, Bachan? I just got back 10 minutes ago. How could I already have a mission to go on? As Tsunade tossed him a scroll as he caught it and groaned. Can't you send someone else on this mission? I hate deliveries. Trust me, Naruto. I'm positive you want to go. Delivery scroll is right there. Grab it on your way out. And hurry, they will need it before the week is up, Tsunade said. Naruto groaned as he read the mission contents. He read the scroll. After reading it, he burned it. You're right. I'm the perfect one for this mission. As he launched onto Tsunade's decks and kissed her on the cheek. I'll be back before you know it, he said. As he grabbed the giant scroll by Tsunade's doorway. As he then turned back around and ran and leaped right through the window. As Tsunade sighed, he's picking up that bad behavior of Jiraiya, she said. As Sakura was confused what just happened. Tsunade-sama, why is Naruto so happy to go on a delivery mission? He just said he hated deliveries, so why the sudden change of heart? It's simple, he's delivering that scroll to Kumo, said Tsunade. As Sakura instantly nodded. Time skip, Kumo, 5 days later. A was currently in his office with Yujito. As she had on a necklace that was similar to Naruto, but instead of being green it was white. It was a present from him. As she clutched the necklace as her thoughts shifted to Naruto. As her thoughts were heard by her Biju. Why not just claim him, Nibi said. I mean just rip off his clothes and give that boy some loving. That will make him know that you're his forever. I think I will, Yujito said. As Nibi sighed. Kitten, you have to loosen up. If you don't show the boy you like him, you... Wait. What did you just say? As what Yujito said just finally caught up to her. You're right, Nibi, I think it's time. I mean, it's all I can think about since our last kiss and when he gave me that massage. As she shivered slightly, remember his last touch. The next time I see him, I'm going to... Where's that damn scroll, the Raikage think out loud? And that snapped Yujito from her thoughts. Konoha was supposed to send a scroll containing any information they have on the Akatsuki and any other threats. But the deadline is in an hour. Where the hell could that scroll be? I clear my old days just so I can focus on that scroll. Yujito was just debriefed on her mission as she decided to throw in her own piece before leaving. Maybe they sent Kakashi Hatake, you know, he's always said to be late. As she turned around to leave the office. As the Raikage couldn't believe that Tsunade was saying her most tardy ninja. He looked ready to smash his decks until a voice stopped him. Please don't smash your decks, Raikage-sama, I just replaced it, Mabi said, the Raikage's assistant. I have Konoha Messenger here to see you, she said. Come on in, said Mabi. As they watched as Naruto entered the room. Naruto Senju, Raikage said. It's a pleasure to finally meet you in person, he said. As Naruto shook hands with the powerful Kage as he returned the greeting in kind. The pleasure is all mine, Naruto said as he took the giant scroll off of his back. Here's the information you requested. I am assuming that you will have a return scroll by tomorrow. I've heard that your assistant Mabi is quite the secretary. You assume correct, Senju-san. We will have the scroll for you to get tomorrow morning. For now, why not enjoy all that Kumo has to offer? He then turned to Yujito. This is Yujito. I will have her show you around the village. Though I do believe it was supposed to storm later, so beware of that. Yujito looked giddy, but she kept it cool and collected as she walked up and shook Naruto's hand. It's nice to meet you, Naruto, she said. It is nice to meet you as well, Yujito, said Naruto. Before they could leave, A spoke again. You know, Naruto, ever since I saw your picture in the bingo book, I was wondering who were your parents. He said in a knowing tone, but he wanted to hear from Naruto himself. You don't battle a guy like Minato, especially when he outranks you in speed. and you can't spot someone like his descendant. Oh, well, I was born an orphan, and I had no idea who my parents could be, so it's up to debate, Naruto said. You just remind me of the late 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze, especially with your hair like that and the fact that you're a Jinjulki. Normally, Jinjulkis are related to the Kage of the village in some way, and I wouldn't put it past him to be your father. Nonetheless, enjoy Kumo, he said, as he lay out the scroll and started to read over the contents. As Yujito and Naruto walking out the door when he added, I'm sure you will enjoy your 3rd time being here, Menma. As Naruto realized he was caught, but he was dragged out of the room by Yujito, as Yujito took Naruto to her favorite place, the sushi bar. The moment she entered, you're back, Yujito. And my, who is this with you, Amy asked. Amy, this is Naruto Senju, a Konoha ninja, said Yujito, as Naruto gave Amy a small bow. Nice to meet you, Amy. I've heard a lot about this place, Naruto said with a smile. Amy narrowed her eyes at Naruto, as she stepped rather close to him and looked right in his face. Wait a minute, haven't I seen you before? I'm having the weirdest deja vu right now. As she remembered Menma. Nah, you couldn't be him, she said. Anyway, the usual Yujito, she asked. Of course, he will have the same, said Yujito, as she and Naruto sat down. As Yujito spoke, you know you're paying for this, right? And how did you came to that conclusion, Naruto said. I thought this was you feeding me until we came to a spar. It's been a long while since our last one, and if I remember correctly, it's up 9-5, with me in the lead. Don't worry, she said, that will come right after this. I plan to kick your ass all up and down. You're not ready for the new things I learned, Yujito said. As the both of them were eating and talking, a Kumo ninja overheard their conversation. As he walked out and left to the resident Jonin lounge, he burst into the room as everyone looked at him because of his loud entrance. Konoha, Orange Fox is here in Kumo. He and Yujito are going to face off, sparring in the mountains. Tell everyone the news, as everyone got excited to see that battle. Time skip. You do realize we have an audience, Naruto said. Are you sure? You want to get defeated on your home turf in front of your friends, he said. Yujito simply smiled. Bring it. But guys, will be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this or know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends on your social media platform. And remember to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Otsutsuki King. And I also posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Badass Genius. So go ahead and enjoy that, guys. And I also post a new episode on this channel of What If Naruto Was Banished and got a supernatural ability. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well. But for now, I'm out. See you guys soon. Well, tomorrow. Peace.